And we will introduce the field now for our boys championship 4x4 12th and final section. Will be highlighted, of course, by Bullis, but a fine field altogether. We'll start off with Harriman. Well, they've been having a good weekend. 3 of these athletes, in fact, were on the winning DMR team this morning that ran number 5 all time. They will be a force in lane number 2. Next up, the Lexington Minutemen. Lex on their chest, having a little fun there out of Ohio. The team of Dontrell Hughes, Will Perkins, Brookston Hess, and Latrell Hughes. This is IMG Elite. You can see their names on the board there. IMG Academy out of Bradenton, Florida. Vandalia Butler out of Ohio. 12th in the 4x2 with this same team. Coming up to the 4x4 now, but this is the highlight. Bullis, the national record on this track, 3:06 earlier this year, defending champions from a year ago. They set the national record indoors in the 4x4 at these nationals as well, anchored, of course, by Olympic gold medalist Quincy Wilson. Outside of them will be North Track, New Jersey. They were 4th a year ago with 3 returning from that team. How about Archbishop Carroll? They know a thing or two about relays. They set the 4x2 national record indoors and won that event here with Al Amin and Frone, both on that team. 2 of those athletes coming up to the 4x4 as well. This is going to be a fun one.
And it's a fun one because you wonder, can Bullis improve upon what they ran here just a couple of months ago in one of the most historic races in Penn Relay's history, with them finishing second, the national record, of course, in 3:06. This quartet, everyone talks about Quincy Wilson, of course, but you got to give credit to Cameron Homer, Colin Abrams, Alexander Lambert. I mean, this is a special group of boys, and it's not just Quincy, it's this entire group that makes this team.
Cameron Homer, Colin Abrams, such a good 800 runner as well. Quincy Wilson, I mentioned, a legend in his own time, let's put it that way. Still just a junior there for Bullis. And I like to think, he's run so many races nationally, so many big-time events, and he's risen to the occasion. He has had his share of challenges as well, but seems to have a great head on his shoulders, and coached well by Coach Joe Lee there at the Bullis program. Incredible things they've been able to do over the last few years. I love the post that Quincy Wilson had, Keenan, where he's holding his Olympic gold medal, and he says, well, I got to go to math class still, it doesn't matter. They wait for no one.
Well, if anybody has done the math on what they did in that 3:06 here at the Penn Relays, the average probably about 45.7, 45.8 for their 400s. Let alone, if you have multiple guys that have ran like 46, because if you run 45s, that's 3 minutes flat. If I'm doing my math correctly, I know you're shaking your head at me right now, but again, you have guys running around, let alone in the 46s for your team, like that's really good, but guys running 45s, it's another level.
And that's something that Quincy Wilson is capable of, as we've already seen this weekend.
Well, it also helps, too, when you run 43 seconds for your anchor leg. That time to beat, 3:06.31, April 26, 2025, right here on this very exact track.
And 3 of the athletes were on that team, as we said. Homer, Abrams, Quincy Wilson. Looks like they're subbing out Mickey Green, but like you said, I think it stings a little bit as they will stand him up, but stings a little bit. They did get second in that race to KC. Kingston College ran 3:05.93. You see incredible times from the Jamaicans. KC, Jamaica College, Calabar. Such a rich history here at the Penn Relays of our two countries duking it out. So I do think that Bullis, even though they ran that national record, I think they definitely want to have an emphatic win here and defend their title.
Well, and Lambert's nothing out of the ordinary either. He was on the indoor team that broke the national record back in Boston.
Away we go, all eyes on Bullis here as they took down that vaunted record from Hawthorne all the way back in 1985 with a number of incredible performances throughout the season, but 3:06:31 is what they ran. They will have to really be moving. Some of these other teams will try to challenge as well. A good start on the outside for Archbishop Carroll.
That's Lambert on the first leg for Bullis, but as you said, Archbishop Carroll, led by Keenan Davis here, who's had a busy week himself, is working his way up here out in lane 9. IMG Elite's also having a phenomenal first leg too from Dylan Woodruff.
Lest we forget, this is about the national title. 3:12:78 is the time to beat. We certainly expect something quicker than that. Can we see a sub 3:10 clocking? That's what it took to win 3:09 a year ago. But Archbishop Carroll out in front now as Cameron Homer has the stick for Bullis.
The sophomore just right on the heels of IMG Elite for Bullis. So IMG Elite now is the advantage. Homer onto the outside. They're 4 across now here, coming up onto 200 meters to go here on this second leg. IMG Elite now into third, Carroll fourth.
Bullis in those pink and blue jerseys representing for Maryland. And I'm sure the story has been Quincy Wilson saying, hey, just get me the stick and keep it close. But they have so many good legs. You talk about depth. Look at the clock there as Abrams now, with his strength, takes the lead.
Pistolino under their national record pace, 134.87. So they have to go faster than 132 on this second half of this race to come within striking distance of what they ran here just a couple months ago.
Well, and forget times for now. They have a race on their hands. Colin Abrams working hard for Bullis, trying to pull away here and give Quincy a little bit of an advantage. Colin Abrams, who's headed to Stanford, a sub 150 man over 800. And now our 400-meter open champion, Quincy Wilson, the legend, the Olympic gold medalist out in front. And you have to think that nobody can run down Quincy Wilson of Bullis.
Don't count it out too much. IMG Elite and looks like North Track are working really hard here on the backstretch. Even Carroll. There are 6 teams in this one still, Trevor. Quincy Wilson, of course, all alone by himself. This is where he starts to turn it up here and deliver Bullis another national title.
Quincy Wilson into the home stretch. The battle for the minor places here is still important. Fighting for a podium spot to be All-American. But could it go any other way? Quincy Wilson with a different team. They swap somebody out and they still run 3:08:27. An incredible time here for Bullis. Under their meet record from a year ago, 3:09:43 they ran last year. 3:08:28 here. They take the victory. It goes without saying, the overall victory as well. Meet record in the win for the Bullis School.
Well, it certainly wasn't a 43-second like we saw at the Penn Relays, but it was still a 45:40 for the Olympic gold medalist as he leads his school to another national championship here at the New Balance Nationals.
Quincy Wilson might need to rent out a room for all of his accolades and awards by the time it's all over here in high school. Still just a junior. It seems incredible to say, but depth is king at Bullis. They swap out Mickey Green for Lambert. As you can see there, Lambert on the left. He did his job. Everybody getting it done. 45-4 on the anchor carry for Quincy Wilson.
And to me, I thought Colin Abrams had the hardest job today, especially coming off of that 800 he ran earlier, and then, you know, to come back running this 400 in this high-intensity situations. You see Homer hands off to Abrams. He held his position. It was really close with IMG and North Track, but once you hand off to your guy in Quincy Wilson, you have to have the confidence in the world that you've got to believe that he's going to take care of business. And he did, right towards that line, 45-40 on that anchor leg, and delivers, like I said, another national title to Bullis.
And keep in mind, they were second in the 4x2 earlier this weekend. Is get encouragement there from Coach Joe Lee, but second in that 4x2, you have to think that the Bullis school really wanted to put the cherry on top, or put an exclamation point on it, if you will. So the team of Alexander Lambert, Cameron Homer, Colin Abrams, and Quincy Wilson are able to bring home the prize. They will stand atop the podium once again in the boys 4x4.